Welcome to the Hobby Jogger Podcast, where elite athletes and ham and eggers lace up their stories. We explore the common ground that running creates, from the world-class runner to the hobbyist hitting the pavement, trail, or treadmill. Expect a blend of inspiration, laughter, and the shared joy that makes every step count. Join us on this journey where every run is a story worth sharing. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Hobby Jogger. I am your co-host, Casey Koza. Once again, joined by my co-host, Mr. Rob Myers, wearing his bucket hat all the way from Saint-Agur-Ava, France. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Getting closer to OCC, so I thought I'd put on the hat.
Do you think the hat will help you at OCC?
It will not, but I'll look cool doing it.
You will look cool doing it, and if you look good, then you generally do play good. Time to introduce our guest today. He is the two-time Laurel Highlands champ, coming off and also a top 10 at the JFK Ultra. He likes really old ultras in the United States. He is Mr. Eric Kennedy. And absolutely nobody today, when I told him I was going to do that, knew what that was. Very disappointed in you, Rob. Slightly more disappointed in you, Eric, because it does have your last name in it, but I get it. Probably not your generation of wrestling, right?
No, but I do remember Tyler Kennedy from the Penguins, so I was halfway there.
That's worth something. Yes, Tyler Kennedy, all-time Penguins great in my mind. Took us to a couple Stanley Cups, won one or two, I believe. I don't know. My history isn't that great, but Eric, thanks for joining us on the show. I certainly appreciate that. You are the two-time champion of the Laurel Highlands Ultra, one of our favorites here. We certainly will get into that, but I don't know you very well. We do follow each other on Strava, which means we're best friends, Rob, right?
It does. We have a lot of best friends out there.
I have a couple best friends, I guess. But yeah, Eric, thanks a lot for joining us today. And you're a Pittsburgh guy. I'm a Pittsburgh guy, so always good to have a Yinzer on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to talking.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit beforehand, but you originally grew up in like the Kiski area, correct? And
yeah, about an hour outside the city, northeast. Now I'm living sort of Murraysville area, maybe 45 minutes east of Pittsburgh. So,
is there a reform school in Murraysville? I was always told there was, like a famous reform school.
No, at least not anymore.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's kind of a rumor, Rob. Like if you were a bad kid, they were going to send you to the Murraysville Reform School. I don't know if it was true. I didn't want to find out. So,
well, you were probably told that like 25 years ago, and that's what you're remembering.
Yeah,
there's one out in Latrobe where I work. I do know that.
Okay. So maybe, they might have moved it since I was a youngin. Where did you go to high school at, Eric?
Kiski area.
Kiski area? Okay, you went to Kiski area. Did you run track and cross country there?
Yeah, so I started track in 7th grade, and then cross country started that in 9th grade, and then ran 4 years there.
Okay. So you have a running background then. You didn't, just play other sports and just hop into the ultra scene, kind of on a whim, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, I was basketball, soccer, baseball, and swimming up until 9th grade. And then I pretty much quit all four to go into running.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. You got to concentrate on, what you're good at. So I certainly understand that. Yeah, that was like, I had to give up wrestling. Just didn't fit into the, you're a Southwestern Pennsylvania kid, so you know how wrestling is in our area. So got to concentrate on what you're good at eventually. And, sometimes sports have to go to the wayside.
Yeah, wrestling was the number one sport at my school. So that's something I regret not doing, but.
So you ran a Kiski, ran cross country. Did you run in college, Eric?
Yeah, so I walked on to the team my freshman year.
Okay.
I was good in high school, not necessarily top runner. So, I guess good enough to walk onto the team, at Penn, and then ran one season of cross country, indoor track, outdoor track, dealt with injuries and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then that was it. So just 1 year of a walk on. And then, after that, took a decent amount of time off from running. just after my freshman year of college.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So yeah, didn't really run through college and just walked on 1 year. I think you might be our second Penn. Did Ethan Koza run at Penn,
I
Rob?
think you're right. Yeah.
I believe so. I think he's about your age, Eric. Ethan Koza from Philadelphia. I think he went to Penn. I'll probably hear about it, I'm sure, if he didn't here. But yeah, so possibly two Penn grads. Did you graduate from Penn?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
graduated during COVID, so
Oh,
a
nice.
Zoom
Yeah.
graduation like what we're doing right now. But
Yeah,
that's
that's
great.
awesome. Yeah, so you got the full experience. That's great. Yeah, terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so you walked on to Penn, get done. What brought you over to the ultra world? Because did you run some marathons first? Did you do the normal half marathon build up, or did you just go straight into it?
Um, I mostly just went straight into it. I really after my freshman year, I didn't want much to do with running. I was pretty much over it. And then I did run one marathon, I think my junior year of college. My cousin was turning 27 the day of the Disney marathon, and I'm not much of a Disney person, but she wanted us to go down, so I just signed up and did that one. It was hot, not that fun, but um
Yeah, we get to
but
go through Star Wars land.
no, that wasn't even there in 2019. So it was
Oh,
yeah, it's mostly just time in the swamp. And as a Western PA guy, that's not what I'm built for. But yeah, that was 2019, and then out of college, I took a job. The company I work for now, but it was a rotation program, so I was in Ohio for 8 months.
oh, we're
Um,
at.
it's called Orwell, Ohio. Very
Hmm.
small village.
Did you work at Schmuckers?
No, it's called Kennemetal. We have a plant in Orwell.
Oh,
Um, it's
I think that's near me, right, Rob?
You're thinking of Orville. That's where Smuckers. Yeah, Smuckers is in Orville.
do you
Okay.
know Cortland or
Yeah, I
I
know
guess
Cortland. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's Ashtabula County, just kind of middle of nowhere.
You
But
got a lot of snow when it
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it was flat there. So I was running a little bit just because I had so much time on my hand. And then my second rotation was in Indiana, kind of like 40 minutes from Notre Dame. And it's also pancake flat out there. So I just started running a little bit more. And my brother was on a similar rotation program out of college. He's 3 years older. And when he was on his second rotation, he did a 100 miler. So I figured just to copy everything he did, I would sign up for a 100 miler. Um,
Brent, your brother Brent, correct?
yeah. So two older brothers. Ryan's the oldest, and then Brent's the middle, and I'm the youngest.
Got it. Yeah,
Um,
because you guys finished first and second the 1 year at the Laurel Highlands. Got it.
yeah,
So you have to follow Big Brother's footsteps and just sign up for a 100-mile race, right?
yeah, exactly. So I did. I know. Think you're familiar with the Canal Corridor.
I was there when you ran it actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Caleb Bowen, friend of the show, right, Rob? Yep. Yep. Kalen, I think he's been on once. I text him all the time though. But he had one of his runners, Abby Herring. She's been on the show a couple times. But yeah, Caleb, good friend of the show. You got caught in a real race there for your first 100 mile.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even consider that a race for me. They were so far ahead, and I had no idea what I was doing. But it was fun to watch them because it was two out and backs that year. So I remember watching Caleb. And I think his name was. And I follow Jacob or I follow Caleb on Strava. I think Jacob was the person that got second. I remember seeing them in the first turnaround just looked like they were sprinting, and then Jacob was a little bit ahead. Then some of the second turnaround, Jacob was still ahead, but Caleb looked like he was gaining on him. And then it turns out they were like neck and neck with a mile to go, which honestly sounded worse than me just hanging out in fifth or sixth place or whatever, because I did not want to sprint at the end of 100 miles. But it was cool to be able to watch that in the two out and backs.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a fun day. It was a fun. I didn't know you then, but if I would have seen that there was someone from Pittsburgh, I would have obviously been rooting for you. Not that I wouldn't root for someone from Ohio, of course, Rob, but
Yeah, I probably had an Indiana address for that race, so you wouldn't have caught it. Yeah.
yeah, wouldn't have caught it, wouldn't have cared if you're from Indiana, really. Just, but a Yinzer, I see a Yinzer out there, Rob, I get excited. So yeah, that's your intro to ultra running. What do you think after that? Because, you probably came in, I mean, you finished fifth in a very respectable time. What,
16:05 or so. Yeah.
16:05, which is very respectable, very good for a 100-mile race. And you see these two that are off the front by what, 4 hours?
Yeah. Yeah, they were low 12s or mid 12s, so yeah.
Yeah, and did it very, I don't want to say effortlessly for Caleb or Jacob because I saw them after they were definitely hurting, but it looked easy. Did that motivate you, I guess? How did that make you feel? Because I'm in the middle of the pack just hanging out, looking for beers at aid stations. But, I feel like when you get up to fifth, like hey, I want to compete, but you see that as your first time. Did that really push you to want to do better, I guess?
No, I kind of had in mind after that I was going to be one and done. I mean, in that race, I was wearing kind of like minimalist Saucony Kinvara shoes that I shouldn't have been wearing. They had awesome sauce gels on the course, which I mean that didn't turn out too well. So
No,
I don't
you're
know. I was
probably a little
probably
underfueled, huh?
yeah. I had like the Heed Hammer Nutritions that didn't take any salt in the whole day. So it was a pretty miserable experience. I mean, I really liked the race. The first honestly 60 miles, I was having the time of my life, but 40 miles is a long time to struggle.
40 miles is a long time to struggle.
So I finished that, and then I had some major lower leg injuries after that, and I was like, I think I'm done with this. But then that's about when I moved back to Western PA, and I joined the Greensburg Run Club out here, and there's some trail runners in that. And I figured at trail running, I have all these lower leg injuries. Maybe I'll try out the trails a little bit, take off some of the impact. So that was like, yeah, the end of 2022, and then I guess it didn't take long because by December, January, I was already signed up for Lower Highlands, um, run learning how to run on trails. But and then from there, I would say that's when I was like, okay, I really like this. I want to learn more about it and how to suffer less, kind of.
It's funny how that happens. That happens to everyone. Like you have a long race. I'll never run again. And then a couple days later, you're like looking at races online, picking the next one to sign up for.
Yeah, yeah. I remember leaving Missing Falls Brewery, um,
Shout out Missing Falls, great brewery.
It
just
is.
in more pain than I've ever been in. That was like an hour after the race. That was terrible. But um, yeah, great race though.
What I DNF'd it at mile 60 or something. I was like, yeah, screw this, I'm done. It's so flat and it's just the same motion, pounding, pounding, pounding. It's like, whoa, it's a whole different problem set to solve than trail running for sure. Like
Yeah, it's hard to lock into that pace too because it's a slower pace than you train at. Um, whereas with trail running, there's hills, so even if you're gonna walk some, you're gonna push harder than you would be in a normal trail run. So
Power hiking, Eric. Power hiking.
power hiking, yeah.
Proper terminology on the hobby jogger. Come on.
yeah. So you joined the Greensburg Run Club. They do a lot of trail running out there. I would assume because I imagine there's a lot of trails out there in the Greensburg area. It's pretty rural out there, right?
Yeah, mostly kind of like the core group that I'm in the run club, they're mostly marathoners. But then there's some if you I mean you go 20 minutes east, you're more in like the Latrobe and Ligonier area. And that's where most of the trail runners are at. So
Got it. So, dude, I didn't know that. Do they have a big like trail running group out in Ligonier?
um there's a there's not necessarily like a club that everybody's in. But there's a bunch of people that do Laurel Highlands every year. And there's two of them are organizing this backyard ultra. I think they've done it for like 3 years now. Um, kind of out between Latrobe and like Lower Highlands. It's out like he has this big hunting property. It's like 200 acres. He has a backyard ultra there. Um,
That's sweet. What's it called? Do you know?
it's called OHBER, OHBER, but it stands for the Orchard Hollow Backyard Endurance Run.
Okay. I think my buddy Heath Goshorn, and his wife Olivia maybe have run that. I'll have to text him after.
I think he was there. I mean, I did like 20 miles one year. I've never really gone for it, but I think he's friends with Andy Boyd, one of the race organizers.
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Andy kind of knows every trail runner in Western PA. So there's not a run group, but he's kind of like our our leader.
He's the czar. He's the trail run czar. Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, Heath was definitely out there. And Andy sounds familiar. I believe he's running the Laurel Highlands because Heath is
Mhm.
coming out to crew him. I think Heath told me. Um, Not sure,
Okay.
Rob.
Yeah.
You know how my research is. That was like 3 days ago. He texted me, so I don't really remember.
Yeah, you can look it up.
Yeah, Heath will be there. I have been told from the horse's mouth, and I'm assuming Olivia will as well, his wife. So also former guest of the show. So yeah, okay. So yeah, you run with these guys out there. What made you want to run the Laurel Highlands? Do you just because you didn't run the 50K, you just went straight. We're just straight into the big one where you don't need to just go to the 50K. We're just straight for it.
Yeah, I guess two things. One, just copying my brother again. He also, whenever he moved back, he just went straight for the 70. So that's a common theme. And then um, I backpacked the whole trail.
Oh, sweet.
I think in during COVID or so, and that's when I learned about the race, and I thought that's pretty cool. I didn't like we backpacked in 3 days, and I thought that was really hard. And I was like, I can't believe people actually do this in one day. Like that seemed like unfathomable to me. Um, so since I had that thought, I was like, well, I guess it's time for me to give it a shot now. Um, Kennemetal is only where I work is only 20 minutes from the Route 30 trailhead, which is like mile 46.
Oh, Route 30, that's the wall. Hold on. I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah, because Route 31's by Seven Springs. Route 30 is up on
Hmm.
Ligonier. Okay, yeah. That's yep. That's like the tough aid station. That's where everyone dies at.
Yeah, either there or the mile 57 one is when people, yeah,
A lot of zombies spotted
that's
there.
where the dropouts are happening
Yeah.
usually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a friend of the show, Will Walmsley. That's where he dropped last year. I tried to get him off the chair, Rob. I did my best. It was not to happen, but he's re-entered this year, so we'll see.
Okay,
Hopefully,
I saw his name on the star list. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Will is back in it this year, so hopefully a little bit better finish for Will this year. But yeah, that's it. So that's a tough part of the trail to run right there. So you get off work and get to head out there on Route 30.
Yeah, I haven't really done that. The first year I did that a few times. Now I guess just other things make me a little more busier. I haven't been on the trail that much this year, but that's where that first year I was close enough where I could go check out that spot. And I like that. I like the north part. I don't like going south from Route 30, but
Yeah, going north there. That was actually, running the Fall Classic. That was a pretty nice, a lot more runnable than the southern part of the trail for sure. Like
yeah.
I was Abu Gurgis. I don't know if you know Abu or not. He's one of the Laurel Highlands guys, but I remember him telling me, "Oh, it's much more runnable after this aid station," and it was not by much, but it was a lot more. It was a lot more fun to run that section of the trail for sure.
Yeah, a little hilly, but not nearly as rocky.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not nearly as rocky up on the ridge. So you're running it the first year. Big brother had run it before, so you decided I'm going to run the 70. You did some research. What kind of research did you do into now running an ultra? So we learned our lesson hopefully at Canal Corridor where we just had our Curvana shoes, the heat gels or whatever they were given out at the Canal Corridor. What kind of lessons did we learn? What new information did we bring to the Laurel Highland 70?
I didn't learn too much about like nutrition and all that kind of stuff, but more the shoes and pacing. Got to get that right. I learned that if you never run the pace you're going to run a race at, your muscles aren't going to know how to respond. So for the Canal Corridor, I was doing all my runs between 6 and 7 minute mile pace, and then from the start, I started at 9 minute pace, and I'd never run a 9 minute mile before. So I was like, I don't know how to do this exactly. So I just tried to get on the course more and actually run the pace that I theoretically thought I could run during the race, and then actually get shoes that are meant for that distance. And then uh, I did bump the fueling up a little bit, but I wasn't too as dialed in as I am. I'm not fully dialed in. I don't think anybody ever is fully dialed in because you're gonna throw up a little bit here and now, but I at least was on the right track.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's very important, like especially a course like that, when you can get some time on it, especially the first 8 miles. Uh, Tough to pace, I know. There's been some other well documented cases of people that didn't pace themselves maybe as well as they should.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't pace myself properly, but a few guys I worked with were like, just get on the trail, and as long as you see every mile, that's a good goal. So I luckily worked and lived close enough where I was able to do a few 20-mile runs from each of the 8 stations or so and get a back and forth where I could see each part of the course twice. So
Yeah, for sure. What was your I know, and I've said this a number of times on this show, but the first 8 miles are definitely the toughest, I think, 8 mile stretch of any course I've run so far yet, Rob, so far.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, and I still think it's going to be tougher than any 8 mile stretch I'll see at OCC. But like, because this is coming out right before Laurel Highlands, what kind of advice do you have as the winner of the race for the first 8 miles?
first 8 miles, I would say, I mean, I think the common advice would be don't burn all your matches. I think a bigger thing that I've learned is that I think people focus on that big uphill, but you're probably going to be power hiking, as we like to say on the podcast, up that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
And you're going to power in that hike no matter what. But I think the two downhills, that's where some of the fatigue can build up in your legs. And I think actually just not trying to make up time on the downhills, because you're going to see some slow splits on the first two climbs. And you're going to say, let's make up some time on the downhills. But that's actually where you can put some damage in your legs that for people that are not pros, you don't need to worry about making up a minute on that downhill that's going to put stuff in your legs that you do not want for the next 60 miles.
No, no, definitely not, because those are two very steep downhills coming off of the first and second climb. Yeah, very steep. I'm glad you said that because that's probably what I would have said as well. Like you just can't make up time in those downhills. It's just tough either way. But I do see, I know, having run the 50K a couple times, I've definitely seen a couple people like laying on the trail at mile 6, like, oh man, it's not good, but you gotta, make it a little bit further. So yeah. But back to the first year you won it, 2023, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. Was it competitive that year, or were you out basically time trialing yourself?
No, that year was competitive. I went in that year mentally much better than what I did in 2024, because I kind of had no expectations. I mean, I got sixth or fifth at Canal Corridor, so I was like, it's a similar type of race. Maybe go for fifth or sixth. Try to start out in 10th to 20th place. So I was probably in 10th place by the main hill, by the big hill at Mile 8. And then there was two really good guys. One of the guy there's a previous winner, Devin Olson. He lives in Colorado now. He won like in the 20 teens or so. So I knew to look out. I was like, this guy's clearly the number one. He's won it twice. Kind of, if you pass him, you better go for it. And if you see him, you might be in trouble. I think around like mile 30 or so is whenever I saw him. So I definitely held back, and that helped out a lot that year.
Yeah, because again, it's tough to run the last half of that race or last 50K of that race as well. Not easy running for sure. Rob, you which sections have you run, Rob?
I mean, I've always run the relay every year, so run all three sections of the relay.
Oh, okay. So you've run
Are
the
you in the
first.
relay this year?
Yeah, yeah. I think this is our fifth year. I think.
Yeah, sounds right. Fifth. Yeah. Yeah, we got two teams coming out this year, Eric. We have two relay teams, the something Mamas and then Rob's team. So yeah, six of
Yeah,
us.
got to look out for the St. Vincent guys. That's the relay team to beat.
Yeah, don't they run it every year, the St. V's
Yeah, I think they usually have two teams or so of the alumni from St. Vincent.
Yeah, last year there was he was not in good shape when I saw him. He got to mile 11. I think it was mile 11. Maybe it was the next one, 19, but he was hurting. Like he was, I don't know, a little too hard, I think, for the young college kid or recent graduate. I don't know. So, but okay, so you passed Devin Olson, very good runner. I know there's probably a few other good runners there that year. Was that the year your brother finished second to you?
No, he was 2024. He finished second. He
Okay,
paced me in 2023.
got it.
Yeah.
So you're pro pacer then.
I was then. I won't be having a pacer this year.
Yes. See, Rob, he probably got that from listening to our show. I think he's anti-pacer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I started the movement.
Yeah, no, honestly, I never even really thought of it until after I won. Then I was like, well, now I got to consider later stage race dynamics. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed spending the last 24 miles, but then I was going pretty slow then, so I don't regret having a pacer then. But yeah, this year I won't.
Nice, nice. That makes me happy, Rob. That makes me smile. I don't. Yeah. We won't talk about the pacer. I know it's somehow controversial topic, but yeah.
Anything that can be controversial, there's not enough controversial things, so we got to look for small things in the trail running community to debate.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm here texting Dan, the RD of Laurel Highlands. Ban the pacer, Dan. I think he blocked my number. Maybe Dan did. I don't know.
Yeah, Casey has never said that a pacer was cheating ever on the show. Never
No.
happened.
Never happened. Never, not once. Yeah, good to see you're going without the pacer, Eric. I like that. We'll go to the 2024 year that you won, beat your brother. Probably had a little bit more expectations that year, right?
Yeah, yeah, and having your brother in the race is gonna.
Little sibling rivalry never hurt anything. I feel like never hurt anyone's competitive edge. So, you lowered your mark a little bit.
No, I was 10 minutes slower.
Oh, 10 minutes slower. Okay, I flipped it. So again, Rob, the research we do on this show, it's got to
They were close, yeah.
close enough. But also out there, temperature matters a lot. Like I know last year it was brutally hot, humid, pretty nasty. Probably why Deanna Doan of Florida won, because it was probably very similar to home for her running down in Florida. So yeah, it does get nasty hot. Probably going to be hot this year since it was like 90 there last year or last week. So we'll see.
Yeah, I did. I paced last year, and last year was way worse weather than the 2 years that I had run it. I was happy to be pacing that year.
Yeah, yeah. And Will be really happy when you say that. That'll make him feel better about his DNF.
Yeah, last year was like running in soup. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah, I camped out the night before up at that Route 30, Eric.
Okay, yeah.
And I was dying. Like I was in my air conditioned car. That was cool. But I was dying outside. Like it was pretty muggy, hot and brutal out there. So yeah, that's the worst weather of the years I've been there, I thought. And it's gonna rain, it's gonna be muggy, but
Mhm.
do you have any cooling techniques that you use at Laurel Highlands? Because you probably weren't using the ice bandana. That only somehow recently gained popularity.
Yeah, I've never used a cooling technique on any run in my life, to be honest. Because since 2024, I was kind of still figuring stuff out. And then the two races since then were JFK, which is snow on the ground. I typically like to travel pretty light, and I know the key out west is staying wet. I always hear that on the podcast, which I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say out east because you're wet from half a mile in. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not going to, but so I don't think I'm going to do an ice bandana or anything. I might have my fiance put some ice into my like the back of my vest.
Yeah.
I wear like a Solomon running vest, so kind of get annoyed with stuff like around my chest. So the vest is enough for me. I usually don't train with a vest, so having that's annoying enough. Ice bandana would be maybe too much, but we'll see. If it ends up being like 90 to 100, then I think you make a race day call and say let's try it out.
Yeah, we'll go for it. Also, lots of streams to lay down out there. I have laid down in a stream or two out there. A time, gets a little bit hot. I went out there and ran once before the Grindstone 100K, It was like a 90-degree day. I just let, I think, a mile 6 before you go up yeah, I just laid down in the stream. I was like, yeah, this feels good. We'll lay down in this nice cold stream here. So
Yeah, I was trying to think. I don't think from Route 30 to the finish there's any streams, but I don't know. I'm not as familiar as I used to be with the course.
yeah, I don't think there is any streams that maybe one just after Route 30, but yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there is like there is at the southern end of the trail. Um, so you took a year off from running it. You ran the JFK twice. You finished the top 10 at JFK, which is awesome. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
that's pretty sweet because that's a tough race. You get a lot of really good runners there. I'd like to ask you a little bit about that because it's a different kind of race, I guess, because you go from the Appalachian Trail, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but about the first 25 miles on the Appalachian Trail, and then about 25-ish miles on like a towpath-ish.
Yeah, it's you get on the towpath at mile 15, but the first five are either road or fire road. So it's really like 10 miles of Appalachian Trail, but first 15 of hilly slash rocky, and then mile you do a marathon in the towpath, and then the last 9 miles on like a rolling country road.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah, that's awesome. You finished top 10 there. Definitely a hybrid type race. What was your experience like out there? Because I really haven't, I don't think we've ever brought this race up, have we, Rob? The JFK?
No, first time.
Yeah, I think you're not the first person that's run it on the show. This is the first person I've asked about it. But what's that atmosphere like at the JFK? Because it's another just old school ultra, much like Laurel Highlands. Pretty revered and well regarded.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed both years doing it. The start line is very different than Laurel Highlands. I mean, they kind of have grandfathered in their permitting things or whatever, so they can have 1,200 people on the start line. And I think the first year I did it, you run up basically like I think a 1,200-foot climb over the first 5 miles. I thought that I was pushing as hard as I did all day, and I was in the first year. I think I was in like 30th place, and I mean, it was pretty crazy to see. And Laurel Highlands, I mean, 200 people feels more like a backyard race. And I mean, JFK compared to like I've never done like a big marathon. I'm sure if you did a big marathon, you would see JFK and think that's a backyard race.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I think the JFK kind of tends more towards the marathon and just the pace that they go out from the beginning. And then the Appalachian Trail part, I think, is underrated how fast the kind of pros are going, like the top five or so people. I mean, they get on the towpath and they're running 540 miles, but they're putting a bigger gap on me than on the AT, and I feel like I'm running harder on the AT. So I think their equivalent pace on the ATs, they're starting out from like 530 miles. So it's pretty cool to see. Just can be discouraging if you think about it too much, but you just run your own race. And it's also way more technical than I think people, because they run so fast, you think must not be that technical, but it's more technical than Laurel Highlands just for a shorter section, only 10 miles of really like boulder sized rocks. Um, but yeah, it's a really cool race. And there was rumor that they were going to lose the course and switch the course, but they were able to keep it for the future. So I was glad to hear that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, would hate to lose that race. Rob, have you ever thought about running JFK?
I've not. No, it's one race I really never looked into. I mean,
Yeah.
heard other people talk about it. You know, the race itself's been brought up on the podcast, but we really didn't go into great detail. I'm not sure why. It's kind of a
Yeah, I wish there was more East Coast race that pros showed up to. Like the one year there was a golden ticket at Grindstone, that was cool. But yeah, the pros really aren't going to come to the East Coast unless it's for JFK. Even then, it's still not like the West Coast. But it was the first time I ever really was in a race with professionals like that. So I thought that was cool to see.
you're 100% right. Yeah, it's the whole West Coast East Coast thing.
Yeah, that's another. We don't want to go down that course with me either because we did have it one year at Grindstone. I feel like they announced it pretty late to where like people that I thought would run Grindstone were like, well, I already signed up for my, we'll say like a race like Laurel Highlands where I like the race director. I'm not going to just tell the race director, hey, I got to withdraw so I can go run this UTMB race, the Walmart of ultra running. So
You just said that
But Caleb Bowen got a ticket there, so
Yes, he did, which was awesome. It was held in a hurricane, which sucked. And it was a well run race, I thought. And Rob, you ran the 50K the following year. I mean, it's other than the food situation afterwards, which was horrendous and inexcusable. I would like to see a golden ticket race come to the East Coast. I know, obviously it couldn't happen at Laurel Highlands timing and entry, but would like to see like a JFK or Grindstone even, but one of the East Coast races get a golden ticket because there is a lot of great, very good East Coast runners, right, Eric?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think, but maybe that's just I don't want to get my hopes up of being able to see one on the East Coast, but I don't know. It seems like they just tend more and more to the West Coast and now international. So
Javelina probably doesn't need one. That's my opinion, probably shared by a lot of people, but yeah, I know. I wish the East Coast had one. Maybe someday it will come back to the East Coast. I think maybe the race director is a little bit short-sighted in that, hate to ignore or, ignoring the population centers of like New York, Charlotte, Boston, Pittsburgh, all within a couple hour drive. What do I know, right, Rob?
Right. You just need to figure it out.
Yeah, not my job. But anyway, back to the Laurel Highlands. You're running it this year. What brought you back to the Laurel Highlands, Eric? What made you decide to come back this year? Was it maybe sitting on the sideline last year, just pacing that, a little tussle up front I'd like to be involved in?
yeah, I think after I did it twice, I was pretty happy. Didn't think I would necessarily go back. But then I was supposed to pace Andy Boyd, the guy I mentioned earlier. He was having some hip issues. So I switched to, I was pacing Kaylee Frederick, who got second.
Yeah, I briefly met her once. I saw her running out there one time. Very talented runner. So yes.
Yeah. So I was at the aid station. I saw Blake and Jesse kind of doing back and forth. And I thought that was pretty cool to see. And then I've had a bunch of injuries the past few years, and I was healthy last June. And I was like, well, if I'm ever healthy, I think it just makes sense to run the race that's local to you. It's a golden ticket race. I'm not a lottery race, so ultimately want to get the lottery tickets up. So I would probably, if I was going to do 100K or longer, I think it makes sense to do Laurel Highlands. It's close to work. My family all lives in Western PA, so it just seems like the right race to do. But yeah, mostly the injuries and then life getting busy, getting married later this year. So you never know how many chances you are going to get to run it again. So I figured my training hasn't been perfect, but I'm able to run, so might as well give it a shot.
100%. You're young, and that course record has been standing since 1998. So
Yeah, older than me.
strive for that.
Older than me. Do you think now? I know. I believe I looked at the entries. I know friend of the show, Jeremy Pope,
Mhm.
scheduled to run. Blake coming back. Jesse Irwin, very accomplished, just took second place at Heiner, owns the gate to 8 fastest known time, I believe, out and back, which was a pretty remarkable time. You just ran the 22 miles out there, out and back yourself, Eric. But do you think that the course record could be in danger this year if the weather is okay?
I don't want to say no,
It's a safe thing to do. I mean, yeah, it's a safe answer.
because then if it actually happens, then you want to be like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen. But I think after 2023, I thought it was within reach. And the year before me, Sam Kirk ran 10:51, and I thought 2023 I did not fuel that well. But then looking back, I ran on so much adrenaline that I think I didn't need to fuel. And then in 2024 is when I realized how quick that course record is. I was 54 minutes. Yeah, 54 minutes behind in 2024. And I didn't execute perfectly. I was in better shape then than I am this year. I think I can execute a lot better. But
How many
54
minutes behind?
I was 54 minutes behind in 2024.
Okay.
And that's when I realized, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say no. I don't, this year, if someone said you have to put money on line, I would bet no. But
The under is the bet, Rob. The under is
I'm not saying never. I mean, if it's a tough time of year to get some of the pros to want to do a race on the East Coast, I wouldn't say never, but for this year, I would say it's seems tough.
the pros are no fun.
You never know, man. You get enough sleep. The weather's perfect. You wake up just feeling good. Could happen.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the way ultras go now, people are going to put themselves in position to break it, but whether whether it sticks, we'll see.
Yeah, it stood for a long time. I was thinking this year, you, Jesse, and Blake, Jeremy in the mix. Like there's a good group, and I know people tend to go faster when in a group, and maybe it could get a little closer this year, but that is a hell of a record. I would like the story on that record, actually, if anyone knows it. Dan probably does, uh, of how it was set, that it stood this long, because it's got to be the oldest standing ultra record around in the US, at least for sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean the way Jesse ran at Heiner and then Blake, I follow Blake on Strava. I don't know Jesse as well, but I talked to Blake last year. He lives in California now, so I don't see him that often. But he just ran the Quicksilver 100K, which is 62 miles and more elevation than Laurel, and he ran fast there. So I think it'll be a good group.
yeah, it's not Laurel Highlands though. It's not the Rocky super 99% humidity with an 80-degree dew point, whatever ridiculous thing it's going to be that day. Yeah, it'll be fun. Well, I guess I won't get to watch. I might hear about it a little bit, but I'll be out there, Rob. So hopefully someone will give me an update. I don't know. We'll see.
How are you feeling for it?
Yeah, hurting a little bit, Eric. Went out there, had a good time out there in Ohio Pile last weekend, but the back's a little bit angry. Running down in West Virginia this weekend. So we'll see. We'll see. I drew number 70, so I feel like that means something.
Wow, that's pretty lucky. I drew number 100.
Oh, number 100.
Yep.
That's shouldn't it be like number one because you're like the returning?
Well, yeah, Blake would be if they did it like that.
Oh, yeah, I guess Blake would be.
But I think it's order of how you signed up.
Oh, that would make more sense. I gotta when Dan unblocks me, Rob, I'll
If you signed up on the first day and were the last one, then you probably were number 70.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
70. So
Oh, yeah, I don't yeah, I think I signed up the first day. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. And yeah, but no, looking forward to it, Eric. I'm hoping, everything breaks your way. You are the local kid. Jesse, he's from West Virginia, so he's not local. But I root for him and hope to see him, all of you guys.
he's from I don't know him, but Andy's good friends with. He's from Connellsville, so he's a Yinzer.
Oh, okay. He is a Yinzer. Okay.
And
Okay.
Blake is from Johnstown too.
Oh, okay. Home of the flood. I wonder if we'll get any other Johnstown locals entered this year. We'll have to wait and see. Um, what else do you have on the horizon going forward, Eric? What else? Do you have anything in the fall that you're thinking about running?
No, most likely won't do anything in the fall. I'm getting married in the fall.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But that's I'm gonna try to put in a lot of time into one exam I'm taking outside the MBA and then my MBA for the second half of the year. If I did do a fall race, it would be JFK, but probably won't happen 4 weeks after the wedding and honeymoon.
Yeah, it's probably. I'd advise you take this fall off. Yeah, just chill this fall and maybe come back.
Yeah. I think maybe well, I actually did want to do Canal Corridor, but we're going to a different wedding that day. But yeah, maybe a marathon. I've never done a marathon, so I think it's a PR that I can get without having to train too hard because I don't really have a PR. So
Well, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I would definitely recommend maybe take the fall off, right? Rob, you're a married guy.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, you want to take at least 3 months off. Be attentive. Be in the house. Be available.
Be available. It's generally a good. I would agree with that advice, Eric. So
yeah, I'll take any advice there.
Yeah, take it off. Yeah, run the marathon, get the PR on there, and just stick around the house a little bit and be seen and be available.
She's my crew for every race too. So
Yeah, hey, you're off in the fall, my friend. You're off in the fall. We'll come back strong next spring. We'll see what you have maybe the following fall, but no, happy for you. Congratulations. Uh,
thank you.
yeah, looking forward to seeing the results there from the Laurel Highlands 70-mile race. I know, Rob, we talk about it a ton in this show. It is our favorite. Dan does a great job, race director, him and his crew out there do a tremendous job of running it. And I'd like to get your opinion on this, Eric. They still keep it true to what the Laurel Highlands Ultra is. I don't think you'll see a satisfied Merch 10 out there.
I don't think so. No.
You might. I don't know, Rob. You might. What do you think?
No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, probably not.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, it's one of our favorites, Eric.
It's a great race. It's perfectly run. I've never had any hiccups. Yeah,
it is. And my favorite, the Route 38 station, the Trail Sisters do a tremendous triage job on all the zombies that come through there in the middle of the heat, in the middle of the day. Check that one out. If you get it, if you're out there, say hello to those fine volunteers out there, because volunteers are, the grassroots of what makes ultra running great. So, looking forward to it, Eric. I appreciate your time coming on. I know you're busy with college. Busy, probably. I'm assuming you don't have much to do with the planning of the wedding, but you're at least,
it's all taken care of.
Yeah, you're at least okaying the suggestions, I guess. Maybe you could too. But yeah, congratulations on that. I look forward to seeing you out there at the Laurel Highlands Ultra this year.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you too. Best of luck.
Yeah, I'll need it.
Eric, where can our listeners find you?
I don't have social media, so Strava. I guess LinkedIn, I have that technically. That's the closest thing I have to social media, but I don't really go on there. But so mostly Strava, I'd say.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Hobby Job. We hope you've enjoyed our conversation today. And if you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support keeps us moving forward. Until next time, keep those feet moving and enjoy the miles.